Now, when I was looking for jobs, I usually would go first to Google Jobs, type in software engineering internship roles, and see what showed up. That was okay, so usually next I would go to Glassdoor, which has a fair number of companies, lots of startups in tech, and I'd open up every listing as a new tab and apply. The last, more advanced tool I use is something called Crunchbase, where you can search by location, industry, or number of employees. Now, last year the free option would show 50 companies, but now they only show 5, so it's not as great. But I basically open up each company as a new tab and find the internship listings and apply for hours on end like a robot. The last thing I would do would search up popular VCs and incubators and basically just browse through their portfolio, find companies that looked interesting, which usually meant having a cool logo, and also just find their jobs page and apply to their internship roles. Now, this process is very tedious, so I wanted to build something better. As a scrappy college student who, wanted the easiest way out to build something, I went to my two trusty sources, Google and Stack Overflow. With my research, I found 3 different tools that could do the job. The first is something called Mechanize, which honestly I still don't know too much about. They say it's meant to browse web pages programmatically, and actually it seemed like it was a pretty good option after making this video, but oh well. The second option is something very commonly known as Beautiful Soup. Now, this is actually a web scraper, which means it parses and reads HTML files. It's a very powerful tool and is also very well documented. And I actually spent a day trying to make this work, but I didn't exactly do what I needed to do because I'm not really scraping the web, but instead I was trying to manipulate and alter forms on sites. The last thing I explored is something called Selenium. And Selenium is known to be a web testing tool, but more broadly, it's known to automate browsers. It's also very well documented, and it actually ended up working just for what I need to do. So now let's take a quick look at the code. Now here it's actually relatively simple. I use Selenium as the main tool to basically parse a bunch of different URLs here. I construct a dictionary that has all of my personal information and go through for both greenhouse and lever the application and fill out each of the different fields that are relevant, such as name, resume, LinkedIn, etc. And this is pretty much just a bunch of try and catch statements, so if you want to look a little bit deeper, you can go to the GitHub and take a look for yourself. And just with a quick if else, we're able to determine whether the application is a greenhouse app, which looks a little bit like this, or whether it's a lever app, which looks a little bit different, just like this over here. I think lever is prettier in my opinion. Now let's see it in action.